We're going to do the area of a rectangle. We're going to find out how much space a rectangle takes up. We're going to try to quantify that. And so we're going to find out how many squares fit on this one little rectangle, okay? We have to use squares because other shapes don't work as well. For example, if I have a tiny rectangle and I try to find how many circles can fit on this rectangle, it's really challenging. First, I have to make them all the same size. That's really... So it's difficult with circles because we can't accurately count all that medium space, all those little bits that are left out. So we have found that to find area of shapes, it's best to use squares as your unit. So I'm going to use squares to figure out how much space this rectangle takes up. So I have some little lines down the side and some little lines across the top. I'm going to extend them because I can't count any squares right here, can I? So I'm going to extend these side lines. See that? Now I have some very long rectangles, but I can't count the squares. So I'm going to extend the top lines, these. And now I have lots of little rectangles, but I still can't count the squares. What do I need to do? It's like I need these rectangles and these rectangles over the top of each other. So if I put them all together, aha! Now you can just count the squares. I'll give you a minute. How many do you see? Did you figure out a shortcut yet? Because you can count every single square. You're very good at counting. You will get the right answer. Or some people look down the side. This is the height of the rectangle, right? How tall it is. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares down the side, right? So we could count 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way across. That's good practice, counting by fives. Or some people don't like to use the height and they like to use the base, the part that it sits on. You know how every shape has a base? Every shape with straight sides has a base. There are 10 right along the bottom. So you could count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Any way you did it, you got 50, right? 50 unit squares is the area of this particular rectangle. So really, when you want to measure the area of a rectangle, you only need to know 2 things. You need to know how long is the base and how long is the height. So one way to practice this is using your graph paper that was sent home in your math book. You still have the graph paper? If you do, don't worry if you don't, we have another option. But if you do, just draw yourself some squares on there. And then we can count. This one has 1, 2 squares across the top, on the base, 2 squares wide on the base, and it's 4 squares tall. So I need to do 2 times 4. If you know that math fact, awesome for you. Woohoo! If not, don't worry. Just count the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the area of this rectangle is 8 squares. I would write it like this. I would write base is 2, h for height, h is 4, and that makes 8. You can do all kinds of them there. Try that big ones, try little ones, have fun. Now, if you don't have graph paper or you want to do harder ones, you could use a ruler and just find things in your house. In the classroom when we do it, we start with small boxes on the shelves. The lids of boxes are rectangles. You can measure them with a ruler. How many inches? How many inches along the base? How many inches along the height? And then you have to multiply. So now you're gonna need to know some math facts or use your finger chart in the front of your journal or use a calculator even. I don't let you do that at school, but hey, you're home. It could be fun. If you have a calculator, or if you know how to do large multiplication problems, you could even find the area of something large, like a door, or the front of your refrigerator, or a bookshelf. That would be pretty funny.